IFR Flight is a difficult subject to grasp, but fortunately, Flight Academy have released some great new training missions for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Elsewhere, Asobo discuss Patch 5, and Honeycomb are set to release some great looking new controllers. IFR is a huge part of aviation, yet it's also an area of aviation that not everyone gets into. For some, that may be because they don't find it overly appealing, but for others, that may be due to its perceived difficulty. Personally, I'm very much a VFR kind of guy, and it's always been how I've spent my time in flight sims. But that may be about to change with Flight Academy's recent IFR Training Missions for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Now, this third-party add-on is a study-level introduction to IFR aviation. It's available from the Sim Market website and costs around €20. The link is in the video description. I've actually been checking it out today and plan on spending a load of time with it over the coming days. There's a total of 12 missions in total, and these are fully voiced, containing very clear instructions.
Anytime the conditions at an airfield are worse than 1,500 feet cloud base and 5 kilometers visibility, flying visually is not permitted. This is when an instrument rating is there to help you.
It also comes with an accompanying manual, which is highly recommended to be read alongside the missions themselves. The missions take place in a variety of different planes, with the first one putting you in the good old Cessna 152 with the aim to teach stable and level IFR flight. Once the mission pack has been installed, as you can see here, the missions are available within the Bush Missions section of the sim. These can be done in any order, of course, although it makes complete sense to do them in numerical order for obvious reasons. Now, so far, I've taken a look at Mission 1, and personally, I felt the training was very well put together. However, I also found it to be a very complex subject to tackle. So, whilst the training is definitely good, this isn't an easy mode in any form of the word, and that means it will require some work and some study to get to grips with. But if you're looking to learn IFR, then this seems like as good a place as any to go out there and start. Like I said, I'm planning on spending more time with this over the next week or so I will report back my findings and experiences to you and let you know how I get on with it all. And if I feel I will be successfully able to learn IFR from these training missions, then that will definitely be a good sign. So far the signs are good, but I'm keen to see where it all goes. Looking towards the next week of Microsoft Flight Simulator, Asobo Studio have confirmed that the first wave of invites for the VR beta testing will be going out next week. The VR beta is broken down into two phases. The first will focus purely on the Windows mixed reality headsets, whilst the second phase will focus on the full VR experience. Now, if you haven't yet signed up for the VR beta and have interest in doing so, then you can find a link in the video description. All you need to do is to be logged into the Microsoft website with your Flight Simulator account and then upload your DXDiag file. Simple enough. Outside of the VR news, a new patch update is also due next week, and this is patch update number 5. Asobo have said that they will release full details on this next week. Currently though, we can find a few hints on what the patch will contain by taking a look at the latest feedback snapshot, so let's do that now. These then are a few of the fixes that are currently listed for update 5. Night lighting problems with the terrain. So this is where under certain circumstances the ground itself was emitting light. A strange situation for sure, and kind of a funny one. Good to see it getting fixed though. The removal of press any key at the start when the sim loads. Now initially this was reported to be fixed or removed in update 4. However, that was an error. The plan was always to get this into patch number 5, so that's going to be happening next week. Metric units. This will be great for those people who like to use the modern measuring system rather than the older Imperial one. Metric units then will be arriving in the sim next week. Nice. The ability to disable cockpit tooltips is the last thing for the update 5 that is actually mentioned on the feedback snapshot. Now, of course, these aren't the only things that will be in patch 5. These are simply requests that were upvoted by the community and therefore added to the feedback snapshot, and Asobo and Microsoft are doing a good job of letting everyone know where the situation stands with what's going on in regards to requests. So for the rest of what's contained within patch 5, we're going to need to wait and see the patch notes next week, or at least more patch information next week. Elsewhere, and looking at the latest development roadmap, we're getting fairly close to the end of the current roadmap now, with pretty much only November left to go. So hopefully we'll see a new one there soon, a new roadmap that is. November shows updates 6 and 7, however there's a distinct absence of any major update listed. The last major update, of course, was the huge Japan update, and Asobo has stated that they intend on releasing a large patch each month, and haven't yet given any indication that that is going to change, so there's no reason to actually expect a change there, at least for now. Now, the Japan World update was released in September, and as yet there hasn't been a large update for October. My understanding is that the next large update should be a sim-focused one, as the previous one was a world update. So yes, more news on that soon would be very welcome indeed. And don't forget that the next world update, which still has an unannounced release date, well, the world update is for the USA. Now here's some news on flight controllers. Honeycomb have a fantastic reputation for quality products, so it's nice to see some new releases lined up here. The newest set of releases then includes a few different things. First up is the Tango Foxtrot flight stick and throttle. This looks like a very interesting setup. Both the throttle and stick can be separated from each other, and also very handily can be set for both right-handed and left-handed people. The setup also contains switches and dials, in addition to a dual split throttle. Further, there's levers for speed brakes and flaps, as well as a rudder trim, parking brakes and more. The only downside among all of this seems to be that the throttle and stick will not be released until around the second half of 2021. It will be priced at $250. The joystick segment would also be available as a standalone unit for around $100, and perhaps most interesting of all out of all of this, the HOTAS will be compatible with both the PC as well as the Xbox Series X. Honeycomb were also set to release a new set of rudder pedals in the form of the Charlie rudder pedals. These actually have a very nice visual design you can see here, and they're designed in a way that will replicate the feel of the pulley system found in general aviation planes. The rudder pedals will be available next year at a price of $249. So yep, a fair bit of money to be spent there, and personally I do really like the look of those. That then brings us to an end of this video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.